If you're over 65, there's something important happening inside your body right now, and most people don't even realize it. It doesn't feel dramatic, it doesn't come with a warning, and that's exactly why it quietly takes control. Because after a certain age, your body doesn't just age, it can start to decline faster, especially if one common mistake becomes part of your daily routine. At first, it's easy to ignore. You sit a little longer than usual. You skip a short walk. You avoid doing things that feel slightly uncomfortable, and nothing seems wrong. But slowly, something begins to change. Your muscles don't feel as strong. Your balance isn't as steady. Your energy drops faster than it used to. And then one day, you notice. Simple things feel harder. Standing up takes more effort. Walking feels slower. You start depending more on support, even for basic movements. And that's when most people say, "This is just age." But what if it's not just age? What if part of what you're experiencing is being quietly accelerated by something you're doing every day? Something so normal, so common, that almost everyone overlooks it. Here's the reality most people don't hear. After 65, your body becomes more sensitive to your habits. The same routine that didn't affect you before can now either support your strength or slowly weaken it. And the biggest mistake? It's not something extreme. It's not about what you're doing once in a while. It's about what you're doing consistently. Now let me be clear, this is not about fear, and it's definitely not about blaming you. Because the good news is, once you understand what's really happening, you can start making small changes that actually work in your favor. So in this video, I'm going to break this down step by step, in a way that's simple, practical, and realistic. We'll talk about what actually changes in your body after 65, the one mistake that may be speeding things up, and what you can start doing differently, starting today. Because staying strong after 65 isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about avoiding what slowly weakens you. And once you see this clearly, let's start with something simple and honest. After 65, your body doesn't suddenly stop working, but it does start working differently. And understanding this difference is the first step to protecting your strength. One of the biggest changes is muscle loss. This process is called sarcopenia, and it happens gradually with age. Your body begins to lose muscle mass and strength, even if you don't notice it right away. Now here's the important part. Muscle isn't just about strength, it's about stability. Your legs, your balance, your ability to stand up, walk confidently, and stay independent all depend on maintaining muscle. At the same time, your metabolism slows down. Your body burns energy more slowly, and it also becomes less efficient at repairing itself. That means recovery takes longer. If you feel tired, sore, or weak, your body may need more time to bounce back than it did before. Then there's bone density. As you age, bones naturally become weaker and more fragile, especially if they're not being used regularly. And finally, your nervous system response slows down. This affects coordination, balance, and how quickly your body reacts to movement. Now, individually, these changes may seem small, but together, they create a shift. A shift where your body becomes more dependent on your daily habits than ever before. Because after 65, your body doesn't just respond to what you do occasionally, it responds to what you do consistently. And that means something very important. The same lifestyle that kept you fine before may not be enough anymore. And that's exactly where most people get caught off guard, because they don't change their habits, even when their body has already changed. Now let's talk about the mistake that quietly speeds everything up. And the surprising part is, it doesn't feel like a mistake at all. It feels normal. It feels comfortable. In fact, it often feels like the right thing to do. And that mistake is simply this: moving less. Not completely stopping, not becoming inactive overnight, but gradually doing less than your body actually needs. It starts small. You sit a little longer after meals. You choose the elevator instead of the stairs. You skip a walk because you feel a bit tired. And in the moment, it makes sense. You're saving energy. You're avoiding discomfort. You're trying to take it easy. But here's what's happening behind the scenes. Your body is adapting. And unfortunately, it adapts in the wrong direction. Because after 65, your body follows a simple rule. If you don't use it, you start to lose it. When movement decreases, muscles are used less, so they weaken faster. Joints become stiffer. Circulation slows down. Balance becomes less stable. And the hardest part? You don't feel it immediately. This decline is slow, quiet, and easy to ignore. Until one day, something that used to feel simple feels difficult. Standing up takes more effort. Walking feels less steady. You start needing support for things you used to do on your own. And that's when people think, this is just age. But in many cases, it's not just age. It's the result of a pattern that's been building over time. Now here's something important to understand. This doesn't mean you need intense exercise. It doesn't mean pushing your body beyond limits. It simply means your body needs regular, consistent movement to maintain what it already has. Because the biggest mistake isn't doing too little once, it's doing too little every day. And once that pattern sets in, your body starts adjusting downward. Less strength, less stability, less confidence. And that's exactly what we're going to break down next. How this one simple mistake starts affecting your entire body. So now let's understand what actually happens inside your body when this pattern of moving less continues over time. Because the effects are not just physical, they are progressive. At first, it seems harmless. You rest more. You avoid certain movements. You reduce activity just a little. But your body is always adapting. And when movement decreases, your body starts to adjust in ways you may not expect. First, muscle strength declines faster. Your muscles need regular use to stay active and responsive. When they're not used enough, they begin to shrink and weaken. And here's the key point. This doesn't take years. It can start happening in weeks. Second, your balance becomes less stable. Balance isn't just about your feet. It depends on coordination between your muscles, joints, and nervous system. When movement is reduced, that coordination weakens, and this increases the risk of slips, stumbles, and falls. Third, circulation slows down. Movement helps your blood flow properly throughout your body. When you sit or stay inactive for long periods, circulation becomes less efficient, which can lead to heaviness in the legs, fatigue, reduced energy levels. Fourth, your joints become stiffer. Joints need movement to stay flexible. Without regular motion, they lose range, making everyday movements feel tighter and more uncomfortable. Now here's where it becomes a cycle. As your body becomes weaker and stiffer, you naturally feel less confident moving. So what do? You move even less. And that creates a loop. Less movement, weaker body, less confidence, even less movement. And over time, this loop becomes harder to break. But here's the important part you need to remember. This decline is not always permanent. Your body still responds to what you do. Even small, consistent changes can begin to reverse parts of this process. And that's why understanding this mistake matters so much. Because once you see how it affects your body, you can start taking control again. And that's exactly what we'll focus on next. Who needs to be especially careful? And why ignoring this can lead to bigger problems. Now this part is very important. Because while this mistake affects almost everyone after 65, there are certain people who need to be especially careful. Because for them, even small changes can have a bigger impact. First, people who already feel weak or unsteady. If you've noticed that your legs feel shaky, your balance isn't as strong, or you feel unsure while walking, this is not something to ignore. Reducing movement even further might feel safer in the moment, but over time, it can make the weakness worse. Second, those with joint pain or stiffness. If your knees, hips, or lower back feel uncomfortable, your natural reaction is to avoid movement, and that's completely understandable. But here's the problem. Avoiding movement can actually increase stiffness and reduce flexibility even more. The goal isn't to push through pain. It's to find safe, gentle movement that keeps your joints active. Third, people recovering from illness or long periods of rest. After being inactive, even for a few weeks, the body loses strength quickly. Muscles weaken, endurance drops, and balance can be affected. So if you've recently been sick or less active, this is a critical time to slowly rebuild movement, not avoid it. Fourth, those who spend long hours sitting. Whether it's watching TV, resting, or simply being inactive for most of the day, too much sitting can speed up muscle loss and reduce circulation. And the tricky part? It feels comfortable. But comfort isn't always helpful. And finally, anyone who believes it's too late. This mindset is one of the biggest risks, because once someone believes nothing can improve, they stop trying. And when you stop moving, your body responds by declining even faster. But here's the truth. It's not about doing intense exercise. It's about staying consistently active in small, safe ways. Because your body doesn't need perfection, it needs participation. And even now, at this stage of life, your body can still respond positively to what you do. Which brings us to the most important realization of all. The truth that most people ignore, and the one that can completely change your outcome. Now let's talk about the truth most people don't want to hear, but need to understand. Because this is where everything changes. The truth is, most people are not losing strength simply because of age. They're losing it because of what they stop doing. And it happens quietly. They move less. They sit more. They avoid effort. Not because they're lazy, but because they think it's safer, easier, or just part of getting older. But here's the reality. Your body follows your routine. If your routine becomes less active, your body becomes less capable. If your routine stays active, your body works to maintain that ability. It's that simple. And here's something most people ignore. The body doesn't need extreme effort to stay strong. It needs consistent signals. A short daily walk, standing up and sitting down multiple times, light stretching, simple movements done regularly. These may not feel powerful in the moment, but over time, they send a message to your body. Stay active, stay strong, stay responsive. And your body listens. Now compare that to the opposite. Long periods of sitting, avoiding movement, doing less each day. That sends a different message. Slow down, reduce strength, use less energy. And your body listens to that too. So the real question is not, what is happening to me? The real question is, what signals am I giving my body every day? Because that's what shapes your strength, your balance, and your independence. And here's the most powerful part. It's not too late. No matter your age, no matter your current condition, your body can still respond to better habits. Maybe not instantly, maybe not dramatically, but consistently. And consistency is what creates change. So instead of looking for one big solution, focus on small daily actions. Because in the end, it's not age that defines your strength, it's your routine. If you take one thing away from this video, let it be this. Getting older doesn't mean getting weaker by default. Yes, your body changes after 65. That's natural. But how fast those changes happen, and how much they affect your daily life, often depends on what you do next. The mistake we talked about today isn't dramatic. It's quiet. It's gradual. And that's why it's so easy to miss. But the good news is, it's also something you can change. You don't need extreme workouts. You don't need complicated routines. You just need to stay consistent with small, simple movements, the kind your body understands and responds to. Because strength isn't built in one day, and it's not lost in one day either. It's shaped by what you do every day. So take care of your body. Keep it moving. Listen to what it needs. And don't underestimate the power of small actions done consistently. And most importantly, don't let age decide your limits. If this video helped you see things more clearly, take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need this reminder. Because sometimes, the simplest advice can make the biggest difference.